What steps can we take to prevent or delay diabetes? Sarah Rentschler is a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and she's here to talk about and raise our awareness about diabetes. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
It's a hot topic, unfortunately.
Yes, it is, because unfortunately, many Americans have type 2 diabetes. Millions of Americans out there actually have diabetes, but one thing that a lot of us actually don't know is that about 1 in 3 of us have pre-diabetes, and the majority of us don't know that we have it because it often doesn't have any outward signs or symptoms. So that's why it's so important to know your risks for developing type 2 diabetes so that we can hopefully make some changes early on to prevent it.
Well, walk us through that list of possible risks.
Yeah, so unfortunately there are a few that we just don't have any control over. So age is one, being 45 years of age or older, having a family history of diabetes, if you had gestational diabetes during pregnancy, and then certain ethnicities are also at higher risk. But there are also some that we do have some control over. So maintaining a healthy weight is one. So if you are overweight or obese, just a small amount of weight loss of about 5 to 10% can actually significantly reduce your risk. So healthy diet and exercise also play an important role in that.
Just kind of that good sense stuff that, you know, just enhance your health all the way around.
Yes.
Do you have some programs where people can come and attend and maybe, you know, get an education about this issue?
Yes, absolutely. So we actually have an event coming up at the Health Park called The Doc Is In. So this is going to be held on November 14th at 11:30. You'll hear from 3 speakers, myself included, as well as one of our endocrinologists and a fitness specialist about how to prevent diabetes. So if anybody is interested in registering for this event, it is a lunch event, so we do need you to register ahead of time by calling 270-688-5433.
You mentioned earlier that quite often people don't know they have pre-diabetes. How do you find out if you have diabetes or you're on that track?
Yeah, so there are usually a couple lab tests that your doctor can do, but also there is a risk test that you can take online. So, you know, it's going to ask you those different risk factors to see, you know, if you are of a certain age, have that family history, or of a certain weight. And that'll just kind of give you a better idea of your risk for developing that type 2 diabetes.
And how do you access that test online?
So that, I believe, can be found through diabetes.org, and that website also has a bunch of other really great resources on there too for you.
I know we've talked about this so often, like knowing your numbers and, you know, staying ahead of that. Do you do some education on diet as well? I mean, the foods that enhance your health?
Yes, absolutely. So at the Health Park, there are multiple of us diabetes educators there. So if anybody is ever interested in meeting with one of us, we do require a doctor's referral, but we can talk a lot about a healthy diet. We focus a lot on those whole foods, so fruits, vegetables, whole grains, low-fat dairy products. And we talk a lot about the diabetes plate method too. So, you know, making half your plate those non-starchy vegetables, a quarter of lean protein, and then a quarter of the starches or grains there as well.
What do you hear most often from someone who is on this trail and realizes they have diabetes? What's the first thing they say to you typically?
I often hear, you know, oh my gosh, I can't have carbs anymore.
Ever again, right?
Ever again, yes. But really that's not true. We just want to focus on balance and how often you're eating these foods and what else we're pairing it with. And a lot of times it just comes down to that portion size too. So I think a lot of people leave a meeting with us feeling pretty good, realizing that they don't have to completely eliminate the carbohydrates from their diets.
Yeah, it's not the end of anything. It's the beginning of good health.
Yes.
So how can they access, register for the program that you have coming up?
So that one, they can call 270-688-5433 to register for that Doc Is In event. And like I said, there is limited seating for that, so we would need you to call and register.
All right, thank you very much for all you do.
Thank you.